Everyone's biggest worry when they're renting their cars out, whether it's on Turo or they rent it out on their website, is what happens when my car gets crashed? Is my car insured? Is it going to be covered? And honestly, it's one of the riskiest parts in the rental business when you're trying to rent cars out. And most people don't understand the process. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how it works, whether you're renting it on Turo, you're renting it directly to customers, and give you a full understanding so that when you're doing it, you don't have to be worried. And the truth is, this is the reason most people don't transition from Turo to private rentals, because they don't understand the aspect of what happens when my car gets in an accident or how is my car insured privately. And so we're going to help solve a lot of these things for you today to make sure that you don't have to be scared and you can do either Turo or private. It doesn't really make a difference. So let's start with the basic understanding and making sure that you know that there's Turo rentals, there's private rentals, but the two are different insurance-wise. Like on Turo, for example, you are covered by something called a protection plan. They take a percentage of your revenue. You have a certain amount of deductible, and then they cover your car in most situations. Sounds like sometimes I've heard of them not, but a lot of times they will. And then private rentals, you have your own core insurance. Sometimes that extends to renters if you have the right kind of policy. A lot of times you either have to rely on the renter's policy, which is really easy to vet, or you have the option to sell them insurance, and that's covered. They're covered private one of three ways: either your insurance that extends, their insurance that you vet, or the insurance that you sell them through a third-party company. This is probably one of the most important parts of the rental business. And honestly, if you don't understand this and you have one really bad accident, it can end your entire rental business. And honestly, this could be true for Turo. If you don't rent your cars out properly and have the right kind of insurance, you can get in a ton of trouble. All right, so let's start with the Turo claims process. Honestly, super easy. You add your car to the platform, you choose a protection plan. Deductible ranges from $0 to $27.50, I think. That's the range. $0 means you give them a lot more revenue. $27.50 means you give them 10% revenue, but it's changed recently. They have weird pricing structures now. And then once your car gets in an accident, either you're guessed or you report it. Now with this comes a ton of verification. You have to have like really good pre-trip photos. You have to have really good post-trip photos. If one of those two things are missed, then they can technically not cover it. If you tell Turo that, because they're going to ask you, if you tell them that you didn't meet the guest and verify the information, they can technically not approve it. Like there's a lot of things that could make it so it's not covered, but if you follow the right procedures, then they probably will cover it. So file a claim, they're going to verify some information, and then they walk with you through the claims process, which honestly a lot of the time is them kind of middlemaning it. So it's you, it's Turo, and then it's typically the other insurance company. So technically just middlemaning the insurance process. So the biggest catch of all this is the protection plan. And I've thought about this a ton. When I was renting my cars on Turo, one day I realized, and I was so upset when I did, that, okay, I'm paying a $2,500 deductible. This is back in the day. This is back when they had a 90/10 at $2,500 deductible. And my guest is paying a $0 to $2,500 deductible. So we're both paying the same deductible. But when you think about it, in every insurance claim, you figure out who's at fault, you find the insurance company, and then you pay one deductible. There's no two deductibles. So when I figured that out, when I found that out, I was so upset because that doesn't even make any sense. It's not how insurance works. And so that's something to keep in mind, is that they're technically double dipping when you're filing a claim with them. So when you're filing a claim with Turo, a couple of the risks are sometimes it can take a really, really long time. I've had a claim take a year, really, really long time. Usually it's only a couple months, but it can take a really long time. So just be wary of that. Payouts aren't always what you expect. If you have a body shop that says, hey, we're going to fix it for this price, Turo might not pay the entire thing all the time. While your car is down because it's taking so long. And if Turo doesn't accept the right amount, sometimes you'll have to take them to arbitration and say, hey, I need you guys to pay, this amount that I have to pay to get my car fixed. All that time is your car sitting there not making money. And if something goes wrong, if Turo decides not to cover, if they decide not to cover the whole entire thing, you have no control. You're just stuck. Now let's talk about what it looks like to file a claim when you're doing private rentals. And honestly, in my opinion, you have so much more control over this, and it's 10 times easier solution. So the first part, and typically you should be doing this when you're on Turo regardless, is finding out who's at fault. Is it your renter's fault? Is it another party's fault? Or are there multiple cars involved? And so typically it's either your renter's fault or somebody else's fault. If you determine that it's your renter's fault, then we're going to either file with the insurance company that we sold them, our insurance company, if it extends and we knew that during the rental. If it's the other party's fault, we're typically not going to file on our insurance. We're just going to file with their insurance. Now, in the case that their insurance rejects it, the other party's insurance, for whatever reason, or we file with the renter's insurance and they reject it for whatever reason, then we're going to file with our insurance. And the process is 10 times easier. A lot of times they're not going to ask for check-in, check-out photos to make sure the car is actually damaged like they did with Turo. They're not going to take months to solve an insurance claim. That's very easy. Typically what they're going to ask for is say, hey, send us the damage photos, send us the estimate. Sometimes they'll ask for a demand letter, which is, hey, our company is requesting you pay this amount for these damages. Their insurance company takes a couple of days to review it, approves it, and then they just send you a check. Sometimes, which is pretty rare, they'll send an estimator if they think your invoice is incorrect, or some insurance companies just want to do that in general to come and see it with their own eyes guys and make sure that, they understand what the damages are. They'll create their own invoice. If there's any difference in the invoices, you'll submit something called a supplement, and it's typically your body shop that does it. And it'll tell them that, hey, it's not what you think the price is, it's actually what we have the price at. Maybe you didn't have the shop hours right, or you forgot a part in one of the cars or something. And a lot of times when you're doing private rentals and you're filing a claim, you're not paying a deductible. The customer's paying the deductible or the other party's paying the deductible. So the time that you pay deductible is super, super rare. And so typically for private rentals, it can take anywhere from a couple weeks to maybe a month. If it takes longer than that, that typically means that there's some confirmation of coverage issues. Sometimes the insurance companies will take a little bit longer to confirm who's at fault. But if you give them all the information right up front, it is very easy. Now, let me finish up my thought on, let's say your renter's insurance or the other party's insurance, let's say they deny for whatever reason. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to your insurance and say, hey, I want to file a claim and the other party's insurance denied it. I want you to do something called subrogation. This means that your insurance is going to go after the other insurance companies and pretty much demand them to pay the damages. So again, let's compare private and Turo rentals. On Turo's side, you have easier to start. It's easier to start a Turo company, built-in systems, but with that, it comes less control, platform risks, and fixed rules. Now with private rentals, it's harder to build out. It takes a lot more time to initially build out the systems, but then you have full control, you have higher margins, you're making a lot more money, you have custom protection, and honestly, you have a little more responsibility. So if you really compare the two, Turo is easier, but comes with a lot more red tape and restrictions, while private rentals is much harder to set up, but you make a lot more money and you have full control over the process versus just being a user in somebody else's platform. So if you don't know what you're doing, private rentals can be very risky for a lot of people, but if you know what you're doing, if you're doing the right processes, private rentals not only can be a lot safer in my opinion, but you can make so much more money and it's always worth it. When we made the transition into private rentals, we went from making $200,000 a month to $300,000 a month. In the first month, we made 50% more money, literally in 30 days. If you want help transitioning into private rentals, if you want to make sure that your fleet's covered, you have advertising, your website, your booking funnel, you're vetting customers' insurance, you're vetting their background, you have good contract in place, you're managing all your reservations, you have a really solid system to transition. And honestly, most people don't transition because they're either scared of insurance and don't have the right systems, but that's what we're here for. We can build your entire private rental system for you in 7 to 14 days. We do it for you. We build the exact same system that we have for ourselves. It's not, hey, I'm going to tell you how to do it, then you got to take the next couple months to do it yourself. We build it, and I build it myself in 7 to 14 days. Click the link below. We can set up a time chat, see if you're a good fit. Good fit typically means that you can have a couple cars. That's completely fine. You just have to be willing to scale. And I want to make sure that you've been in the rental company at least, a little bit. As long as you have had 1 or 2 cars and have done rentals for like at least a month or two, just have basic understandings of how, the business kind of operates. It's good because if you're just starting out, I think it's hard to make the transition into full private. So I typically recommend Turo, but for people that have done Turo for a little bit or even private rentals, easy transition. So click the link below. Let's set up time. I really appreciate everyone's support in the videos. And honestly, drop a comment below. Let me know what the next video should be. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.